Game 6 between the Leafs and Panthers just exposed the winning formula for Toronto. After laying one of the biggest eggs in Game 5 that had Leaf fans writing the eulogy for this team and their core, the Leafs have come out and responded with the best game they've played all season. The big boys stepped up, Giuseppe Wonderwall is going platinum with the shutout, and the Leafs have 4-7. So, how the hell did this team go from looking like they had no answers against the defending Cup champs to breaking through and sending this one the distance? Let's take a deeper look and break it all down. Now, before we hop into it, we got to talk about the best ways to get involved in the NHL playoffs, and that is through SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best app for finding deals on tickets by rating them on a scale of 1 to 10 so that you know if you're getting a good deal. If it's red, no bueno. If it's green, that's a gem, and you should be all over those tickets. SeatGeek is hooking you up with 15% off whether you are a new customer or not. If you've never been to an NHL playoff game live, you're missing out. It's must-see action. The atmosphere and pace of the games like nothing else, and with how expensive tickets could be in Toronto, I'm always lurking on the SeatGeek app on the day of the game to score some sweet last-minute deals. I did it with Game 1 of Round 2, and if your team's still in it, I highly recommend you do the same if you can. And if you're going to do so, make sure you use our code HOCKEY15 to get 15% off your next tickets. All you got to do is click the link in our description down below to get the best seats in the house while scoring a great deal from SeatGeek. Now, in our last video of what went wrong for Toronto, we talked about how solving the Panthers' forecheck dictates basically the entire rhythm of the game. If you can't solve the forecheck, you're likely getting scored on first, and if Florida's playing with a lead, you're falling victim to the suffocating defensive structure of the Panthers. We saw this in Game 4, and definitely saw it in Game 5 as the Leafs made some brutal mistakes trying to force offense and chase the game. So, how exactly did Toronto solve the forecheck? Well, the last 3 games, it's no secret that Florida has been spamming the hard rim on entries to get the Leafs D to pick up pucks on their backhand while pressure is breathing down their neck. Toronto practiced for this ahead of Game 5 but didn't execute. However, in Game 6, Toronto negated the issue by having a support player right with their D for a quick option off the chip. Right out of the gate, first shift, it isn't a D, but Tavares, who's left-handed, is put in an awkward spot with pressure coming at him, but he has support with Holmberg swinging towards the boards for support to pick it up off the chip. Toronto handles the pressure and regroups. Same thing here with the Leafs D this time. They're able to eat the pressure, and Holmberg again is in the right spot for Toronto to handle the pressure well. Now, the Leafs know that Florida's coming, and so all night long, they were doing a fantastic job of winning these battles on the wall with a quick chip play to support. Here they know that Florida's coming. It's a rim, and a Leaf winger has to eat that pressure, but they've caught 3 Florida Panthers in deep, and they got support on the wall ready to go the other way for a rush play. It's dynamite execution, and the Leafs are heading the other way. Now, down by 1, up by 1, Florida's philosophy on offense does not change. Even if this initial rim play is fumbled, Toronto has center support, they take care of the threat and move on. Here, it's obvious with the Leafs' execution. They're up by 2. We see the same rim play, and Ekman Larsson, the D, he isn't even concerned about taking the puck. He's just going to let it go up the wall and allow the Florida F1 to just stay on him. As the F1 finishes his check, McMahon has an easy pickup, Leafs regroup, and Toronto once again handles that pressure. If you ever wonder why smooth skating defensemen like Makar and Hughes are so important in the playoffs, it's because they can break down a forecheck by themselves with their skating. But here's Eggs and Benny Simone Benoit doing his best impression. He gets the legs going, beats 1 forechecker, 2, and then 3. Look at the big man go. Leafs get another odd man rush and a good chance by a rare use of their legs to beat Panther pressure. Again, formula in games 1 and 2 was beating that pressure, and if you have your D to step up in the process, you get some great looks. The Leafs use the wall in these chip plays to bypass the aggression, and Tanev waits until successful to jump up in the play. Once it's good, he gets the legs pumping, and Toronto gets a glorious chance. We saw a ton of that in games 1 and 2, and it was a good sign that we saw it in game 6 for the Leafs. Here's another example of them chipping pucks past pressure. 2 Panthers get in on the forecheck, up the wall we go. Eat that initial check, chip, nice. Now Florida has 4 stuck in deep, but you know with the Panthers' aggression, it's a well-oiled machine. So here is the final layer of pressure, and yeah, just a little chip off the wall again. It's simple, but the Leafs, they want to keep the play moving north, and they do it using the wall with support. Goal number 2 in this game was the direct result of this formula. Florida gets caught with 4 deep again, and the Leafs have support ready along the wall for the chip. It turns into a rush, and how about Pacioretty too here, eh? He's ahead of the play, but takes a great off-puck route by going wide, maintaining speed to wait for McMahon to hit the blue line, and then gets the legs going. You add a little bit of nunna sauce from McMahon. It's Pacioretty, number 67, the curse buster, doing it again for the Leafs. However, the biggest storyline in this game was Matthews and Marner in Game 5. They didn't have the puck nearly enough, and they made mistakes, but with how well Toronto was beating Florida's pressure, it opened up the opportunity for the big boys to have more controlled entries. All night off a solid breakout from Toronto, Marner was looking for Matthews underneath for some controlled entries with speed, but here's how much details and balances matter. Now, Florida's going to set up on the regroup. This is Forsling and Ekblad, their best pairing. Forsling zips it over to his partner, and it just goes under his stick. The Leafs, they're set up in their 1-2-2 structure. Marner steps right up to pounce all over that loose puck, and this is what he does best. Gets possession inside the zone, little hook to reload, sucks in 2 Panthers defenders, and finds Matthews underneath again. Now, this is a one-on-one between the Leafs' best shooter and the Panthers' best D. Matthews, bread and butter for years, has been the toe drag release, changing the angle. And here, he uses his range to pull it out wide. Forsling, being the great defender that he is, has the right lane to go stick on puck. But the angle change allows him to slip the shot through the triangle, and it just catches Bob by surprise. A little reminder to close your damn legs while you're at it. That is vintage Austin Matthews, and the weight of the world lifts off his shoulders in what may very well be the biggest goal of his career. Great play from Marner again to just jump on that puck, suck in the coverage, and find Matthews. But that is a monumental response from those two players, and finally they can get Matthews off of milk cartons in Toronto. Finally, to tie it all together for the formula was Giuseppe Wonderwall, Joseph Woll. In his career facing elimination, his record is 4-1. He has a goals against average of 1.13, a save percentage of .958. He's averaging 28 shots against in these games, and now he's got his first career NHL playoff shutout. However, on top of this, it was helped by some terrific structure in the D zone from the Leafs, but his calmness and efficiency in his movement was a sign of a really confident goaltender. Pucks were just being swallowed up by him. No rebounds or second chances for Florida to start buzzing in their shoot and retrieve system. Just a lot of one and dones on the outside. This play near the end of the game was a perfect example. Look at how well he's tracking the puck, just efficient in his movement. Woll is a goalie that does play more on top of his crease than most, so he beats the pass, gets set for the shot, and Carlo also just does a great job of boxing out the forward, making sure that Woll can see that puck all the way, and the result is a huge save in the dying minutes. Again, the Leafs D were lights out. They only allowed 3 shots on net from the slot all game. That's the fewest of any team in these playoffs. Not to mention, they were blocking shots like their life depended on it, just eating pucks for their goalie, fronting shots incredibly well, and the desperation leads to a 2-0 shutout win to force a Game 7 in Toronto. This was a perfectly executed game by the Maple Leafs. It did expose the winning formula, but you know that the Cup champs are going to have a response. It's all going to come down to a do-or-die game, and whoever can execute their game plan the best will come out on top. So, who do you have in a Game 7? I mean, it's Game 7 in Toronto. What's the worst that can happen? We've only seen the Leafs lose this type of game for about 9 years in a row, but they've got everyone sucked back in again, and with the parade officially being back on after Game 6, who knows what can happen? Anyways, drop your Game 7 prediction down below. You know we're going to be breaking it all down on the channel, so make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a thing.